So I was configuring my compiz to be a little bit more productive on Unity because Unity by default, everything is like either on the dock or your hotkey, and that's not really the true power of compiz. So that's what I'm going to show you guys today. Most of this stuff is like old stuff. So if you actually follow me like back in the Stone Age days, like 2 or 3 years ago, then you know all of this. But for the new folks that just barely just came to my channel, this might be new to them. So let me show you some tricks, not all of it. Okay, if you actually want to see all the other stuff or whatever, then just search my videos on compiz or something. But here's some of the stuff that you might want to do to be a little bit more productive, I guess. Um, or maybe like speed it up a little bit. I don't know. So the first thing is expo. Expo effect is this thing where you have to what was it here, the workspace switcher, right? That's basically the expo in here. And if you want to tweak this, because by default it's not that quick, you want the zoom time to be about .2000 here, right? And that'll be a little bit quicker like that, you know. The other thing is that the viewport that they have. So by default they have this viewport like at a distance. To me it looks freaking ugly. Look at this. I don't know who wants to see that shit. Okay. So what you want to do is grab the viewport distance to 0, and you can see that it looks more sexier, I guess. So that's the one thing. And let's go to the binding here. Now the ideal way, or what I would recommend, is that using the button binding, right? The thing is, the button binding here is broken. You can't use this shit. Okay. The ideal way, what I would always recommend is doing that, but it doesn't work. So that's why we're gonna have to go with the edge binding. Okay. Or sometimes they call it hot corners. And here you can set it to the bottom right or whatever corner you want. All you do is just click on the corner you want. Of course you can still use the hotkey, but this is using the edge binding. So if I hover over this bottom part here of this corner, you see it activates the effect, and it's a little bit more quicker if you're like a mouse person. You use your mouse pointer and you go boop, and then you can drag your windows across workspaces quicker that way. So that's one thing. Oh yeah, the thing is, if you're doing like edge binding or any of these other bindings, you probably have accidents, and that's why I really don't recommend edge binding that much. But to delay some of this, to avoid some accidents, we can use this thing called in the general tab here, the general options here, you can actually delay the edge trigger. So if I delay some of this to like about 500 around there, it's not gonna activate it once you hover over it, right? You see I'm hovering over the corner here. You have to do is just hover over it for a while, and then it'll activate it. So if I hover over it a while, it'll activate it, right? So that's to avoid some accidents, since you don't really have the button binding. If you want to, okay, you don't have to. And this applies to all the other the ones that use the edge binding. So if I use my scale, right, it does the same thing also. But for this one, I'm just gonna disable it. If you want to use that, you can use that. Oh yeah, and then let's go to the scale feature. So make sure you enable the scale and the scale add-ons and all that. But in here, you can actually speed up the effect, because by default it's kind of slow too. So about 10 around there is quick enough. So you can see that my scale is quicker than the default, right? What else is there in the? Of course, in the binding, make sure if you're gonna use the binding, like I said, the button binding does not work. They broke it. So what you want to do is use the one that has the monitor icon, and that's your put it in whatever corner you want. I put it up the top corner here. So there you go, that's a little bit quicker. Another thing is it's called the, let's see here, oh yeah, show desktop right here, right? Just enable it. I don't think you have to do anything in here. No, not really. If you want to change some effects or whatever, this one it says move to corners. But if you want to set a edge binding to it, it's not actually in this plugin. It's actually located somewhere else, and it's located in the general options. I still don't get why they put it over here instead of over there. But anyways, go to the key binding here, and go down to this show desktop, the monitor icon here, and then select the corner you want it to bind to, and that's it for that. So if I was gonna use to these windows, right, and I just hover over this, and it will show me my desktop. That's all it does right there. Let's go back here. I think I talked about the grid in like last few videos. So just make sure your grid is, if you're gonna use the arrow snap thing, make sure it looks something like this, like mine, and then you can tile it really quick. Let me see here. So for example, if I was gonna tile this, of course you can do this one, but you can actually do this one also, and the bottom. So you get the idea. See the bottom here. So that's that. See here. So grid feature, make sure you use that. Oh yeah, another noise I had was that when you open a new file or new Windows or whatever, what the hell is that? You know how you open like a new Windows like this? It usually goes to this corner like that. It's placed there. It doesn't go in the center, which always annoys me. But what the hell is this? So what you want to do is go to place Windows, this plugin here, and set it to center, and this will open your Windows center instead of like in the top corner. Always bugs me, but that's their default way. Okay, I think that's about it. That's what you want to do. Might be some other stuff, but no, that's it. That's already all you gotta do for this one. If you want to play around with any other compiz effects, like I said, just watch my old videos, and you'll probably learn something more productive. But that's it for this video, and hopefully that's helpful to anyone.